My story began on an ordinary yet unusual Friday morning. Normally, at the end of the week, most people are probably preparing for their weekends or busily wrapping up their work week. But I was different. I was preparing for an adventure like no other. A trip across the beautiful Japanese mountain ranges. I have visited the mountains of Japan multiple times, but this trip was something different. We decided to tackle a trail that is not commonly taken. We planned our trip to avoid weekends and try to have as many days during the work week as possible. This way, we could better experience and connect with nature, avoiding a bustling crowd and the buzz of society. The first day's journey was relatively relaxed. We set off together in the morning mist. Our destination was a place called Hut A, and although the weather was somewhat gloomy, we did not feel troubled. On that day, the team had an aura of determination and motivation which made us feel extremely excited. Our spirits were high. Most of the time we were laughing, joking, teasing each other, and planning the following day's journey. As the morning of the second day approached, the weather began to worsen, and it started to pour violently. The rain seemed to fall ruthlessly from the heavens, and the wind blew as if it was searching for its next victim. I think we all felt a bit scared, but we knew we couldn't back down. We put on our raincoats and continued our journey. When we crossed a roped rock peak, I felt as though our journey that day was a struggle between life and death. We were like a small ship in a storm, being thrown about the waves, but we safely arrived at our destination after all. Upon arriving at Circle Valley, given good weather, I'm sure we'd have seen an absolutely breathtaking view. Unfortunately, we could only see the gray sky that day. But that evening, I experienced what I consider to be the scariest event of the journey. I was about to fall asleep, turning to a more comfortable position in my tent, when I noticed my teammate staring out of the tent, eyes wide open. He solemnly told me that he saw someone outside our tent. Hearing his description sent chills down my spine. It was a person in wet mountaineering clothes, a silhouette standing outside our tent the whole night. The thought of someone nearby dropped a cold pit in my stomach. I could hardly sleep that night. The morning of the third day, we met some other mountaineers. At that moment, the silence of the night was replaced by the voices of these people, which made me unable to sleep. The sound was quite disturbing, so I tried my best to ignore them. Nonetheless, that night I seemed to be particularly restless, tossing and turning throughout. Then the fourth day arrived, another highlight of our trip. We reached the renowned Hut B. Prior to the trip, I had been told that there are many stories of haunting incidents around this area, though I tried to face them with a denial attitude. The fear of the unknown was still inescapable. However, the night went by like any other ordinary night. Apart from the occasional footstep sounds and unexplainable noises, we did not discover anything unusual. That night we slept relatively peacefully, only waking up occasionally due to various noises, but we didn't think much of it. On the fourth day of our trip, we finally faced the last stop of our journey. Although most of the people might choose to camp at the place where everyone normally chooses, we decided to pitch our tents at a secluded location that isn't usually chosen by others. That night was unique. The atmosphere around the campsite felt a bit strange. In the dead of night, all you could hear was the wind outside the tent and the swaying trees. Suddenly, we heard some unidentified objects hitting our tent, and then some slight noises, as if some small animals were chewing the leaves. The sound that night made me feel particularly uncomfortable. I tried to locate the source of the noise, but I couldn't find any evidence. Once I returned to my daily life, it might seem like a normal hiking trip to others, but from what we experienced and learned from our encounters, it can only be known by our own. From our trip, we deeply felt the grandeur and mystery of nature, making us understand that each journey has its unique experiences and lessons. The experiences we gained from this trip have paved the way for our future, and our exchanges with nature will make us stronger on the journey of life. No matter when, we will dance with nature until the very last moment.